So right now, we can't afford a maintenance service contract. We have maintenance staff that are on board that do the day-to-day. But right now, our current budget sits at about $68 million. $41.1 million comes from the city, $13 million comes from the millage, and about $10.1 million a quarter is given to us. Right now, our payroll is about 9.6. Our food expenses is $780,000 a quarter. That eats up the money. We don't have the funding available to have a full maintenance contract to do this. We've explained this on multiple occasions. Just on Monday, we went to the City Planning Commission and we reported this out. We asked for the money to secure this. So the funding is not available to do what needs to be done.
What does it say, and I mean this respectfully, but you said, and I'm going to quote you here, that you observed those guys running out at 1 o'clock in the morning. What does it say for jailhouse safety and security when you see a jailbreak like that, but you fail to notify anyone? NOPD, the public, anyone?
We didn't say that.
What did you say then?
Yeah. We observed on the video later this morning. We had to pull that video.
He said you observed at 1 a.m.
There's a lot of finger pointing going on after a public safety catastrophe that's deeply humiliating for Southeast Louisiana law enforcement, especially in New Orleans. You have the jail CFO blaming the city's budget, saying they need more money. OG City Girl American Trail, who oversees the city, is telling everyone it's okay and encouraging people to continue visiting even while there's a gang of inmates on the loose. Then you've got Mayor Cantrell's appointee, Ann Kilpatrick. She too was getting blamed for failing to alert the public in a timely manner. There was a 2 to 3 hour delay, and the sheriff? She's completely dodging accountability for her own jail, blaming everything on her political opponents.
We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye in this investigation. And why did it happen just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start this sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help. We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated. There's much more than meets the eye. When I have enough information, I'll be glad to talk to the community about my issues or what I need, anything I may need to apologize. This is a public safety issue first and foremost. There's much more than meets the eye. We are digging, and we are not going to stop.
Are you suggesting that your opponents are orchestrating this from behind the scenes?
What is OPSO doing tonight to make sure that this facility is safe and that no one else can escape? Once again, Sheriff.
You can't make this stuff up. Take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
To New Orleans now, and a demand for answers following the escape of 10 hardened criminals. Surveillance video at the jail captured the brazen breach. CBS's Katie Weiss is in New Orleans with the latest. It almost sounds like something out of a movie, Katie.
Oh, absolutely, Jerika. Good evening. That's definitely a way to characterize what happened here. That escape now has hundreds of officers searching even across state lines on an exhaustive manhunt.
Heads need to roll.
Outrage is growing in New Orleans after 10 inmates made a daring prison break early Friday morning. They managed to break through a cell wall by removing a toilet, leading them to a loading dock and freedom. It was 7 hours before anyone noticed they were gone. No deputy was on duty. Only a civilian employee was there at the time.
When she stepped away to grab food, that is when they began their attempts to escape.
3 prison guards have now been suspended. New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas.
And I think the sheriff should lead in making sure that people are prosecuted who were negligent or complicit or in cooperation with the folk who escaped.
The inmates wrote taunting parting messages, including "Too easy, LOL."
They were then observed scaling the fence using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire.
Governor Jeff Landry posting on social media, quote, 3 down, 7 to go. Lock them up. State police captured Robert Moody, Kendall Miles, and DeKeenan Dennis, and today used a helicopter to bring them to another Louisiana prison.
Our number one mission, despite anything else right now, is to get these people in custody.
And even though this prison was rebuilt in 2015, the sheriff's office is also pointing blame on the city for failing to pay for what they say were needed fixes to faulty locks. Jerika?
Katie Weiss in New Orleans, thank you.
Listen, y'all, this is some straight up mess. 10 Pookies escaped from the New Orleans jail. They had 2 inmates to a cell, these 10 in 5 separate cells. They ended up breaking out of them before all 10 of them crowded into one handicap-accessible cell. From there, they removed a toilet and cut through rebar to escape. The first signs of the break occurred around 12:23 a.m., all of it caught on surveillance. It took them nearly 40 minutes to create an opening large enough to get out the building. Then they used blankets to shield themselves from the barbed wire as they scaled and hopped the fence. 17 minutes later, after escaping the building, they were spotted on camera running across Interstate 10. One fool got caught in the French Quarter, and by 10:29 p.m. that evening, the city notified residents that 3 of those 10 inmates had been caught, urging the public to contact authorities if they saw any of the remaining 7 still out there on the loose. Now, the whole weekend has passed, and at the time of this video, those 7 inmates are still missing. And this, despite the fact that multiple agencies are involved: NOPD, the Sheriff's Office, other local law enforcement agencies in nearby jurisdictions, the Louisiana State Troopers, even the FBI and U.S. Marshals. Those 7 inmates are still at large. And these are not low-level offenders. One of them already convicted of homicide. The rest are facing charges like second-degree murder, robbery. I'm talking violent offenders. So certainly this is a major threat to public safety.
To our top story now. Investigators warned that the 7 escapees on the loose could be armed and dangerous. 27-year-old Derek Groves, convicted gunman who killed 2 people on Mardi Gras Day in 2018. Groves was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the crime last October, but he had not been transferred to the Department of Corrections custody. An internal document shows officials are specifically concerned that he may go after witnesses who testified during his trial.
32-year-old Antoine Massey was being held on domestic abuse and vehicle theft charges. Massey has a history of separate escapes. Records indicate he is wanted in St. Tammany Parish for kidnapping, and 19-year-old Corey Boyd is accused of murdering Brandon Fees. 26-year-old Linton Van Buren was being held on a guns charge. He's accused of murder in a separate case where he allegedly shot a man in New Orleans East in 2021. 42-year-old Jermaine Donald was booked on second-degree murder and battery charges. 31-year-old Leo Tate is awaiting trial on burglary, drugs, and weapons charges. 21-year-old Gary Price was arrested in early April and was being held without bail for his alleged involvement in an attempted first-degree murder case.
Look at them. A bunch of low-life Pookies. You see why they did this? They had nothing to lose. One of them already convicted on a murder case, on his way to the state penitentiary for life.
Governor Jeff Landry increased the reward for information leading to the recapture of the inmates you just saw. He says he's going to cover part of the increase himself.
Jacob Bradford details the efforts to recapture these 7 men.
As the search for 7 inmates charged with violent offenses stretches into day 3, Governor Jeff Landry is increasing the reward, along with State Senate President Cameron Henry.
In addition to the FBI increasing their award from $5,000 to $10,000, I would ask that you go ahead and increase the Crime Stoppers award to $5,000. That's a $3,000 increase. Both Senator Henry and I are going to cover that amount.
Now the reward has increased to $20,000 per inmate. In the wake of the escape, Governor Landry has asked the Attorney General to investigate how the brazen escape happened from the Orleans Justice Center last Friday and who is responsible. He is also having the state's Department of Corrections do an audit of the Justice Center on compliance for basic jail guidelines.
9 of these 10 escapees were sitting in jail waiting to go to trial. Had they gone to trial, had they been convicted, had they been sentenced, they will most likely not be in Orleans Parish Jail, but in our custody in one of the state penitentiaries.
The governor signed executive orders in the aftermath of the jailbreak.
This executive order will mandate the commission to specify specific review triggers, including reviewing the number of judge trials and acquittal rates in criminal courts. There should be an automatic review of any judge that has a disproportionate number of acquittals, as we have seen here in Orleans Parish.
Another executive order instructs Louisiana's Inspector General to get an inventory of pretrial detainees in the Orleans Justice Center and those awaiting sentences to have them removed.
Like Derek Groves, the escapee, who pled guilty to manslaughter in October of last year and was awaiting sentencing. If he would have been sentenced by our court system, he most likely would not have had an opportunity to escape.
Louisiana State Police Leader Colonel Robert Hodges says family members and friends are helping those that escaped, but says he believes tips will lead to arrests soon.
We're confident this time that we have actionable intelligence on all 7 of those fugitives. And we hope in the coming days, if not the coming hours, that we have them all apprehended, but we need the public's help.
One person not at the press conference was Sheriff Susan Hudson. When asked where she was, the governor was blunt.
I don't know. Hopefully minding the jail.
Mayor Cantrell also spoke, saying that while this is happening, the city is still welcoming people and hosting celebrations, but to remain vigilant.
Our focus remains the same. Manhunt, we will get it done. Thank you very much.
And the hot potato blame game here has got to be studied. You've got the CFO of the jail blaming the city for budget issues. So basically, she's throwing it on the mayor. And then the mayor's girl that she appointed, the head of the New Orleans PD, she's trying not to throw the sheriff under the bus. But it's obvious there was a lack of communication here.
That's basic information that we have right now. We, on our part, NOPD, will keep you informed. But these escapees are in our city, although they had been under the care of the Sheriff's Department, but we will be working in partnership on this.
Superintendent, we know that these inmates went missing around sometime after midnight. The Sheriff's Office didn't find out until 8:30 this morning. The public was not notified until sometime after 10 o'clock this morning. How crucial is time to, number one, recapture these individuals, but also to alert partner agencies as well as the public to be on the lookout for them?
Well, that's why I'm here. So I only learned about it as well. And I spoke with the sheriff, and she was going to be doing her media response, was we wanted to give her that opportunity to do so. And I understand that she has, but we were not going to wait. So when we learned about it, we knew the immediacy to at least inform the public. Even if we didn't have pictures ready and all of the names ready, we didn't have that either. But we need to let our public know.
I feel like she should have notified sooner.
You know, something, we'll deal with that at another time, but we are working collaboratively as we always have. But we, wanted to immediately notify our public.
Then the governor is throwing shade at the sheriff. She wasn't even at the press conference. And one of the reporters was like, hey, where's the sheriff? And Governor Landry said, I don't know. Hopefully she's minding the jail.
Where's the sheriff today? I don't know. Hopefully minding the jail.
Because obviously she wasn't. And ultimately, that's the person who's going to catch the most heat. I'm talking about Sheriff Hudson. And she should. As the sheriff, it's her responsibility to secure the jail and everybody in it. So as much as they want to blame everybody else, the sheriff is the real problem. It was almost an hour from the time they left their 5 cells to the time they were seen on I-10. That's crazy. How do you get out of jail, leave the premises, not just one of them, but 10, and nobody saw anything? Yeah, that's because nobody was doing their job. And get this, the woman responsible for watching them that night, she stepped away to get food. Didn't even notice any movement in the area she was assigned to monitor. Either that or she just simply wasn't watching. She didn't even go back to check the footage. I mean, no oversight at all. They reportedly didn't even find out about the great Pookie escape until the morning during a head count. By that time, they had been roaming the streets with an 8-hour head start. And then when the sheriff found out, she still waited to inform the public. In my opinion, she took too long to alert NOPD. And then NOPD took another 2.5 hours to alert the public. This is crazy because you're dealing with dangerous, desperate people who will probably do anything. You remember the last case I covered just a week ago? The Georgia Clayton County inmate who escaped, stole a woman's car, and caused tens of thousands of dollars in damage in just 8 minutes? The victim of that case, the woman, was put in danger after the female officer guarding the inmate at the hospital reportedly fell asleep on the job. Just stupid and negligent all around. And I have to be honest, I gotta say it because nobody else will. You have a lot of women in positions they shouldn't be in. Mostly because these agencies refuse to pay men what they should be paid. So there's a shortage. And what they do? They go for cheaper, lower quality labor. The same thing that ruined the whole job market from the beginning. I'm talking decades back. You know, back in the day, women didn't have to work. A family could survive off one income from the man of the house. But women fought to work. And that flooded the job market with competition. Employers no longer had to pay a man a fair wage. They could replace him with cheaper labor. And little by little, the market got destroyed. Now women have to work just to help support a household because of the very policies feminists fought for. And what do we have now? Female guards falling asleep. Female guards walking away to get food while 10 inmates escape. The female CFO blaming the city. Then the city's got their first female mayor, who appointed the first female police superintendent, who's now trying not to blame another woman, the sheriff, who's also the first woman to serve in that role in the city. Not only that, she made history as the first black female sheriff in the whole state of Louisiana. And out of all the women running this situation, she's the one really responsible. But of course, instead of taking responsibility, she's going around blaming her ops.
So can you monitor every single person every day? No, we don't have the bodies to do that. But we do monitor and we rely on tips, and we have an intelligence unit that monitors what's going on in the jail. There's a lot of things at any given time going on.
But it's your job. It's your job to monitor every single person in this facility every day.
Visually, with our deputies on the pod.
What does it say? And I mean this respectfully, but you said, and I'm going to quote you here, that you observed those guys running out at 1 o'clock in the morning. What does it say for jailhouse safety and security when you see a jailbreak like that, but you fail to notify anyone? NOPD, the public, anyone?
We didn't say that.
What did you say then?
Yeah, we observed on the video later this morning. We had to pull that video.
He said you observed at 1 a.m.
We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye in this investigation. And why did it happen just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start this sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help. We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated. There's much more than meets the eye. When I have enough information, I'll be glad to talk to the community about my issues or what I need, anything I may need to apologize. This is a public safety issue first and foremost. There's much more than meets the eye. We are digging and we are not going to stop.
Are you suggesting that your opponents are orchestrating this from behind the scenes?
What is OPSO doing to...
Sheriff, but you're the top dog though. The buck stops with you. She's literally standing up at the press conference, refusing to take accountability. Like, no ma'am, this is your department. You can blame everybody else all you want, but this one right here is on you. And your CFO up there low-key trying to blame OG City Girl Mayor Cantrell for the budget? Maybe there's something there. But overall, it's the sheriff's duty to do what they have to do to secure the jail with the resources they have. And when you have people that's supposed to be monitoring inmates running off to eat, then going a whole shift without realizing 10 Pookies ran out the back door, nah, you can't blame OG City Girl Mayor Cantrell for that. It's a lot you can blame her for, but this one right here, nah, that's not it. This is definitely on the sheriff's department. You're the one who put your citizens in jeopardy. It's been 4 or 5 days, and you still got 7 Pookies on the loose. Everybody's in danger. They already have a history of robbing and knocking people off. You have witnesses and victims who are in danger right now, along with the general public who could come in contact with these people. And not just in your city, but at this point, they can be anywhere. The FBI said they could have crossed state lines into Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas. They even said they could be all the way in Alabama or Florida. And honestly, after 4 or 5 days, they can literally be anywhere in the country. But who knows? They're probably still right there in the city hiding out with some girlfriend or family member that's hiding them. At the end of the day, this hiring people and voting for people to make history is just silly at this point. All the female leaders involved in this case happen to be the first woman this or that. And look what's happening. It's not about gender, color, or whatever. You have to choose competent people. Look at Sheriff Hudson. Was she elected sheriff to make history? Or was she elected because she was the best candidate for the job? Now y'all done gave her this position that she can't handle, and when she clearly failed in this situation, she won't even take accountability. They went all day Monday with 7 inmates still on the run. Then Monday night, they ended up capturing the 4th inmate. And since, there's been more movement in the manhunt. The night after number 4 was captured, inmate number 5 was located and taken into custody. So right now at this point, 5 inmates are back behind bars and the other 5 still on the loose. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this below. I want to thank everybody who supported this channel. You can show your support as well. The link to PayPal is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.